Let's start. Last week I was reviewing Redux Aerator PR and also start working on reviewing Trimace PR, which bringing the Illinois Blue Store to Crimson. I think that's a way to go by changing the prefix of a namespace, but the Trimace PR needs some polishment before moving on. And I believe that's I think my most important thing is to get both of the PR merged and properly reviewed. If you have any concern regarding to Aerator, please to read it up as soon as possible, because I think we will be using it very soon. And aside from it, I started working on the preliminary implementation of Redux tree, and I will send out the updated design to Safe Notes, the Safe Notes repo ASAP. And I think that's me. Redux.
Not much from Crimson, apart from the SeaStor, from work in SeaStor upstream related to the patches. Two of them are already accepted. They will be merged very, very soon. For the rest, I'm discussing the rest. The most important one from the Aerator's perspective is also, I think, accepted. Avi proposed a solution that work around all potential issues, basically dropping some debug facilities in production builds, which is perfectly fine for Aerator. I implemented the patch according to Avi's idea and sent it to SeaStor dev. Also, during discussion there, we found another idea for optimization of then and then wrapped behavior, basically moving on, depending on introduction of another of air value qualified variants of then and then wrapped that would do less in production builds. Apart from that, well, I'm not focused on
Radek?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that? On the second one?
Okay. At the moment, both then and then wrapped are not CV qualified. So there might be a problem, like I'm writing in the chat window, something like that. Auto future get my future then, and once again future then. That's legal at the moment. But the second, we have a machinery, debug related machinery present even in production builds that is responsible for asserting on the second call to them. It's a bit costly because of state transition in the internal state machine in SeaStor, and also for detaching the promise. Now the idea is to leverage the std move behavior. Something like std move future then will be a special override of the then method that would avoid doing the debug in production build also work. Taking a look on the link keep.
I will warn you though that you can get the same bug, right?
Sorry?
So I mean, you're right. Technically, this is more right, but it's not different, right? You could still call standard move
the idea is,
again. immediately after it.
Yes, you can, but you shouldn't. That's the idea.
No, but that's already true. So what's the difference between this and just eliminating the debug?
Compiler and static analyzers should
No,
learn
C++
in
static analyzers are not normally smart enough to figure that out. In some cases they
usually
are,
again-
but if you complicate it even a little bit, they usually don't notice.
Yeah, in Rust it's
Well,
out of the box. In C++ it's not, but it's still not a part of interface, of future interface, to call then on a future instance that was already moved from. That's the entire idea.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. This is more correct in a sense. It makes the interface work better. So I support it, I guess. I don't know. It seems fine.
Okay, anyway, it's at the moment it's just an idea for optimization. It's not implemented yet. I'm going to send the patches. I may make the patch in a background. Apart from SeaStor, well, I'm mostly focused on two FIPS related case. One is zeroization according to security policy, and another one is a bug in monitor. The last thing, well, it's funny, but it seems I'm really obligated to take some vacation because of Polish employment law. Likely, I will need to do that before end of this year. So maybe next week I will partially disappear, but only partially. That's me.
Yeah, seems to me. Probably I need to also schedule some vacation before the end of the year too. Conan.
Hi, I continue to work on the ASOC implementation. Now, what I have now is working, and if you have the time, I will this week send a PR for review, which will not, before I'm rebasing, I'm working on a version that is at least a month old of Ceph, but I would appreciate a quick review before I'm working on rebasing it to a new version. It will not be ready for, because of the baseline, it will not be ready for merging now, but it is working. So I expect to have this probably on Sunday. That's more or less what I did.
Oh, by the way, I need to send you the PR regarding to the refactory made by Ra. I just managed to record that just now. I'll send it to you over the mail later on.
Good.
After the meeting.
Okay.
Understand?
Thanks.
Yep. I was in San Diego yesterday at a Ceph day. So I gave a talk there on Crimson. Seemed to go well. What I'm mostly working on, I'm still plugging away at recovery and backfill. The object context patch introduced a bit of a performance regression because it does some things that the OSD doesn't currently do. Mostly it grabs the snap set off disk, which the current one actually incorrectly doesn't do in almost any case. But removing that and another commit from the top still left a little bit of a regression, so I'm trying to figure out why. The answer might be that it's just doing things now that it wasn't doing before. So we might just have to live with it. But I'm taking it as an opportunity to get some profiling infrastructure set up for myself. That's it.
Thanks, Sam. Yixing?
Okay, the PR to compile native stack is merged, so everyone can try it out now. And I did another round of experiments to get CPU-related metrics according to Redux comment. So the link is pasted. So the document is updated, and I ignore the lower overhead cases because it is no longer accurate to get CPU metrics because it is polling. It is always polling, and I only evaluate the CPU metric at server side because it is pure one core, and the client side has more CPUs. So the result is POSIX, the total instructions per operation is similar between POSIX stack and the native stack, and the major difference is that native stack has higher instruction per cycle and the less branch misses, and I think that's why the native stack performs better. So that's a major conclusion.
That's the only difference? That's the only performance gain from using
35% better IPC. That's a lot.
But Yixing, I think I made the same mistake as you did in my performance test. I showed in last SeaStor Summit. I think we need to put more loads on the on Crimson Messenger on SeaStor. That's the way we can offset the instruction, the busy loop in performed by the reactor. So
yeah, we need to load. Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
So that we can make better use of the pooling, because you know if there is any job in the task queue, the reactor keep busy waiting for new ones until there are no tasks in the queue.
And it costs instructions.
Indeed. Yeah. So
that's all. I don't have other updates, and because it was a team building last week. I'm looking at the SeaStor plan and need to understand where we are now with BlueStor, and need to ramp up related knowledge. Yeah.
Anyway, big thanks, Yixing, for the additional testing. Really, the IPC gains looks significantly, at least for 35 or almost 50% better. Maybe we should reconsider the user space drivers as the primary backend, both for Messenger and also for SeaStor. Because even in SeaStor, we will soon need to decide whether the first driver to implement to go will be based on AIO or on SPDK. And in matter of IPC, well, the benefits are visible. So I would reconsider whether we want to give priority to user space drivers. Of course, ultimately, we will need to do support for both kernel and user space drivers. That's for sure. It's only a matter of priorities, nothing more.
Okay.
By the way, I would encourage us to review Redux aerator PR, because we'll be using, all of us will be using it after it gets merged.
So we need to modify our code based on aerator, right? Our existing code.
I think the whole idea of the Redux PI to make our life easier.
Yeah, but it's not obligatory to do ASAP. It can be gradual, step-by-step process. It doesn't aerator doesn't kill our already used error handling facility. They are still in place. And the very last note on your testing engine, What's also interesting is that the IPC for POSIX, which is 1.2, it's awfully similar to what we are seeing for Crimson, and also for the single messenger thread of classical async messenger. 1.2, 1.1, 1.2, that are pretty typical values when interacting with kernel.
So the classic OSD is the worst one, IPC, right?
Yes, but I'm only focused on some small part of the classical OSD, which is a messenger thread. The overall IPC for classical is much worse, mostly because of TP-OSD, TP threads, finisher threads, all those stuff that is awfully slow. But the messenger threads per se, on their own, they are pretty fast. What is funny is that the classical messenger of Ceph is classical async messenger of Ceph is actually very similar in architecture to Crimson.
Yes.
There is a reactor concept inside, and similarity in architecture is reflected by similarity in IPC. Wow.
So any other questions or comments? Okay. Thank you guys, and have a good day and have a good night. Talk to you later.
Thank you. See you later.
Good evening,
Bye.
good day. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.